Fish roe and caviar are often marketed as luxury foods with impressive nutritional credentials, but for people with gout or elevated uric acid, they represent one of the most concentrated and underestimated dietary risks. Fish eggs are biologically designed to support rapid growth and cell division, which means they are densely packed with nucleic acids. This translates into a very high purine load per gram, frequently placing roe near the top of purine tables alongside organ meats and certain small oily fish. Because purines are metabolized into uric acid, even small portions of roe can deliver a disproportionate urate burden compared with more common protein foods. For individuals whose uric acid levels are already close to the saturation point at which crystals form, this concentrated exposure can be enough to provoke a flare. The risk is amplified by how fish roe is typically consumed. Caviar and other roe products are often eaten as salty, cured, or preserved foods, which adds additional metabolic stress. High sodium intake can worsen fluid balance and blood pressure, indirectly affecting kidney function and uric acid excretion. Many traditional preparations also pair roe with alcohol, refined carbohydrates, or rich fats, a combination that further increases uric acid production while reducing its clearance. Alcohol, in particular, competes with uric acid for excretion in the kidneys and can sharply raise blood urate when combined with high purine foods like roe. This makes social or celebratory settings involving caviar especially problematic for gout-prone individuals. While fish roe does contain omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, selenium, and other micronutrients, these benefits do not offset the risks for people with gout or hyperuricemia. Comparable omega-3 intake can be achieved through lower purine fish, algae-based supplements, or controlled amounts of plant sources without triggering the same uric acid spikes. Moreover, because roe is so nutrient-dense, repeated consumption can contribute to excess intake of certain fat-soluble compounds and cholesterol, which may not be desirable for people who also have metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease, or insulin resistance, conditions that commonly coexist with gout. Another important consideration is portion distortion. Although roe is often described as being eaten in small amounts, what constitutes a small amount can vary widely. Gourmet servings, sushi toppings, or spreads on crackers can easily exceed what would be considered safe for someone with gout, especially if eaten repeatedly over a short period. Because the purine content is so concentrated, even modest overconsumption can undermine uric acid control for days afterward, increasing the likelihood of delayed flares rather than immediate symptoms. This delayed effect often leads people to underestimate the connection between roe intake and subsequent joint pain. For anyone experiencing active gout, frequent flares, or persistently high uric acid levels, fish roe is best avoided altogether rather than merely reduced. During flare-free periods, if it is consumed at all, it should be treated strictly as a rare indulgence, measured in very small tastes rather than standard servings, and never combined with alcohol or dehydration. Consistent hydration, adequate fiber intake, and prioritizing low-purine protein sources are far more reliable strategies for long-term urate control. In summary, fish roe and caviar are nutritionally rich but metabolically aggressive foods for gout-prone individuals. Their extremely high purine density, frequent association with alcohol and salt, and potential to trigger delayed uric acid spikes make them a poor choice for regular inclusion in the diet. From a risk management perspective, the safest approach is to view roe not as a health food but as a high-risk luxury item that can quietly destabilize uric acid balance and prolong gout problems when consumed too freely.